When we think of the word spy, we conjure up images of famous people such as James Bond, intrigue, action. But what really is a spy? What is the point of a spy? In this week's Parshat, Shelach, Moshe sends 12 spies into the land of Israel to scout out the land, to bring back a report to him and the people of Israel so that they'll know about the land that they're about to enter. How will they enter it? What type of foes will they encounter? Who were these spies? What type of people were they? And the Torah tells us, Kulam anashim. They were all men of renown. Rashei Yisrael Hema. They were the heads of the tribes of Israel. And included in these 12 spies were Yehoshua ben Nun, the famous disciple of Moses who became his successor, after whom one of the books of the Tanakh of the Bible is named. Also, one of these spies representing the tribe of Yehuda was Kalev, the husband of Miriam, a very righteous man. So these were not just regular people. These were people of great renown, people of great standing. And yet, the events occurred tragically. The spies go into the land of Israel, and 10 of them come back with a negative report. They tell the Jewish people that this land is inconquerable. There's nothing that they can do there. The people who live there are of disproportionate size, giants, and there's no way that the nation will be able to enter the land of Israel and conquer it. And of course, there's mass panic and fear. The Jewish people want to go back to the land of Egypt. And only Yehoshua and Kalev are able to stand up against them and say, no, it's a good land. We can go into that land. Moses, up till now, has made sure to protect us. You've seen the miracles that have happened. We can do it again. But alas, everything they try is in vain. The people believe the report of the 10 spies, and the result is tragic. God decrees that that generation will remain in the wilderness and die out. They'll be there for 40 years. And the new generation will come into the land of Israel. We have to pause for a moment and ask ourselves, what happened to these spies? They are introduced to us as people of renown, heads of the Jewish people. They weren't small people. They were learned people. They were great people. They were pious people. How is it that they turned on the person who sent them, on Moshe? How is it that they did not believe in God, who had taken them out of the land of Egypt and had promised to give them the land of Canaan? Why did they believe that God could not bring the Jewish people into the land of Israel and conquer it? It's a difficult question, but perhaps to understand it, we can look at a statement of our sages from Pirkei Avot, Ethics of the Fathers, where we are told, Al ta'amein ba'atzmecha ad yom motcha. Do not believe in yourself. Do not have trust in yourself until the day of your death. What does this mean? A person shouldn't have self-confidence, self-esteem. No, there's something else that's implied. Our great teacher, Rabbi Yonah, explains as follows, that this statement is referring to 2 aspects, Chassidut, piety, and emunah, belief and faith. A person should not believe in himself until the day of his death. That means that if a person has reached a particular level of piety, he shouldn't say, I've arrived. I have reached the top of the game, the top of the field. I'm not worried anymore that my evil inclination is going to try to overpower me. I have defeated it. Because that's not so. The internal war, the struggle that we have with ourselves continues throughout our lives and in fact becomes more and more difficult. And a person can never say, I have reached the level of piety that I want to remain on. Because every day that struggle continues. So it is with emunah, with belief in God. A person should not say, I have reached the ultimate level of belief in God. I'm not worried anymore that anybody can turn me astray, because there have been famous examples in the Talmud of people who were even great people, Talmidei Chachamim, Torah scholars, who believed in God, and yet they turned astray. One of these was Elisha ben Avuya, who is mentioned in the Mishnah, who was a great, great sage, and yet at the end of his days he became an apostate. The sages illustrate this particular statement with an actual story that occurred. And it's a shocking story, and it's one that should give us pause. They explain as follows. Al tamein ba'atzmacha ad yom motcha. Do not believe in yourself until the day of your death. This refers to the story of Yochanan Kohen Gadol, a certain man named Yochanan, who was a Kohen Gadol, a high priest, during the times of the Second Temple. This was the highest religious office that a person could hold. And the Kohen Gadol would dress in his special garments of gold, and on Yom Kippur his white garments, and he would go lifnai v'lifnim, within the inner chambers of the temple, the Holy of Holies. He was the only one who was entitled to do so, and only once a year on the Day of Atonement he would go in and offer the incense. And if he did it incorrectly, he could die in an instant. So we have to try to work out who this person Yochanan was. He was obviously a great person, a person of standing, a person of great piety. He was appointed to be the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, and every single year, for 80 years, he served in that position, and he went into the Holy of Holies, and he brought the incense offering, and he was in control of all of the other Kohanim, the priests in the temple. One would think that he had it made. There could be nothing that could possibly happen to him. And yet, at the end of his days, he became a tzadduki, a Sadducee. This was a sect of Jews who had broken away from the main body of the Jewish people and who denied certain fundamental beliefs. How could this be possible? How could it be that a man who had gone within the inner chambers of the temple could have become a Sadducee, could have turned his back on everything that he learnt? And that's precisely the teaching that our sages tell us. Al tamein ba'atzmacha ad yom motcha. Don't believe in yourself until the very day that you die. Don't say, I've arrived. Every day you have to work on yourself. You have to try and improve. Because if you don't improve, you're actually going backwards. Almost like a person standing on an escalator that is moving down, and suddenly he stands still. He has to keep walking upwards against that escalator to reach the top. And so it is that we have to do that. Don't believe in yourself until the day of your death. And this is perhaps something that happened to the Spires. The Spires believed we are Rashi Yisrael, we're the heads of the Jewish people. Nothing can go wrong. Our mission will be successful. But we see that it ended in tragedy because they didn't work on themselves. They didn't realize that you can never just arrive and remain stationary. You have to grow all of the time. It was only Yehoshua and Kalev who were able to see that, yes, the land is difficult. Yes, there are challenges, but we can work above those challenges. And there's no question that God can bring us into the land of Israel. So the message of the Spires is that we have to grow, we have to thrive, we have to strive, we have to meet our challenges on a daily basis. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.